All right, welcome back. We've got a fun one today. As you can see, the authentic Moroccan fez is on my head. That means we've got another sovereign citizen. This one is in Kansas in Judge Ricke's courtroom. And this guy must have been a very naughty boy in custody because he's on a leash. Like, literally, you can't see my mouse, but the sovereign citizen is on the bottom right hand side of the screen in glasses and the gray t shirt. And leading from him to the corrections officer, who you can only see his arm there on the screen, is a leash. Presumably, it's connected to his handcuffs or to a shackle or something. I literally, he must be a very naughty boy because why else would he be on the leash? He's not in the courtroom. Presumably, he's in the jail. But you know, it was one of my very first appearances in court. I was in Richfield, Utah, way down south, central Utah, but still way south of Salt Lake, rural community, and they were trying to drag a defendant from the holding area into the courtroom. He really didn't want to be there. There was a lot of commotion. Frankly, a leash probably wouldn't have cut it with him. So, this guy's probably on the spectrum right between a normal cooperative defendant and that guy. But either way, he is our freak on a leash today. And he, as expected, has no clue whatsoever what he's talking about. None at all, as you'll soon see. And I'm a little bit confused at the beginning, but let's hit play and I'll explain why I'm confused.
So
Well, I'm going to appoint a lawyer at this
what
point.
gives you jurisdiction over me? You must establish jurisprudence as a point of order.
I'm not going to play your sovereign citizen gibberish game.
I'm not a sovereign citizen, sir.
Okay, whoever is Juan Flores's box is muted, so I'm not hearing anything. They can unmute themselves if they've got some business with this court.
Hi, Judge. I am Counselor Flores, and I am resident McLaughlin's counselor, and they have him here right now.
Okay, very good.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think I've got it now. I think I have it. So where I was confused the first two times I saw this is I thought he was in jail, and I thought this was his sovereign citizen counsel, the fake jailhouse lawyer. And why would the judge let him speak? Why would he just let it go at that? He's clearly not a lawyer. He's in a t-shirt, he's in a hoodie, a beanie, and he's in a storage utility area. So he's clearly not a lawyer. So what's going on? Now I get it. I just figured it out because I'm here to serve. He is in a treatment facility. This is his addiction counselor or his mental health counselor. So one of those problems with, the word counselor, multiple meanings. He is not counsel, he is a counselor. Confusion cleared up.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Jesse Travis McLaughlin?
Or, he could just be in prison, in jail, and, it's the jail counselor. Like, I know it's fiction, but for those of you who've seen Orange is the New Black, you have Counselor Healy, ineffectual twat that he is. That, that could be what we have here. I don't know why he introduced himself on screen. I don't know why he's in for the hearing, but because, this guy with the arm we see, he looks like he's in a correctional officer uniform. I swear I know words. But yeah, he looks like he's a corrections officer. So it might not be rehab. It might be the jail with a jail counselor. It might be the jail rehab wing. It could be any number of things, but counselor, not counsel.
Yeah.
This is State of Kansas versus Jesse Travis McLaughlin. It's case number 2024 CR 397. Mr. McLaughlin appears from a Hutchinson Correctional Facility Zoom location. Brett Sweeney appears for the state of Kansas. Mr. McLaughlin, I have before me a charge of battery against a law enforcement officer, a level 5 person felony. Since a felony is involved, you will not be asked to plead at this time. Rather, a preliminary hearing scheduling will be made before your assigned judge, which is the Honorable Jan Satterfield. Judge Satterfield's next docket for that purpose would be April 7, 2025, 2:30 p.m. You must fully participate by Zoom in Judge Satterfield's docket at that time, April 7, 2:30 p.m.
All right. Judge Satterfield is maybe even more no nonsense than Judge Ricke, so that should be fun. Now, all I had to do is, listen further along. He is in a correctional facility. His charge is felony battery upon law enforcement. So it could be the reason he has the leash is he attacks guards. He attacks CEOs. They're law enforcement. So it could be he has attacked a CEO as a prisoner. That's why he's here today, and that is why he is on the leash. This is where it gets fun, though.
I trust, Mr. McLaughlin, that you, being in prison, don't have the financial resources to hire your own lawyer.
So prison, not jail. So he's serving a more than a year sentence.
That's all right. I can represent myself.
Okay, well, you can take that request up with Judge Satterfield. At this point,
Every man must speak first.
Judge says, I'm not going through Feretta. Judge Satterfield can do that.
I will appoint a lawyer, and then you can, before Judge Satterfield, properly conduct a proceeding if you really do want to
Point of order. What gives you jurisdiction to appoint a lawyer over me?
The state of Kansas.
I have statutory authority to do so. So, Mr.
So what gives you
appoint a lawyer at this
what
point.
gives you jurisdiction over me? You must establish jurisprudence as a point of order.
Like some sovereign citizen gurus, like Artie's corporate fiction is the one to ask because he's the expert on the gurus. But one of the gurus, I believe, tries to push this point of order, and I'm not sure if it's the talking frog or if it's it might be Stevens. Was that the guy's name in Arizona? Stevens, that has never won a case, obviously, but either Mark Stevens. That's who I'm trying to think of. I'm thinking this guy, his guru or his jailhouse lawyer or whoever, is a descendant of that branch of sovereign citizenry, either the talking frog or Mark Stevens. Artie, like I said, is the expert. But this guy, number one, yesterday's video, we discussed jurisdiction. We discussed how for federal court, the Constitution gives jurisdiction, the U.S. Constitution, and we discussed the Michigan Constitution and the Michigan compiled laws, the Michigan Code, as to which courts have jurisdiction within Michigan. You'd do the same analysis here in Kansas. Is this a federal crime? No. So it's not federal court jurisdiction. Is this an enumerated crime in the Kansas Penal Code? Yes. Therefore, Kansas courts, state courts, have jurisdiction. I don't actually know. I think in Kansas they're like Utah, where the district court is the court of general jurisdiction, unlike Michigan where it's circuit court. But so being that this is a felony, it'll be heard in the court of general jurisdiction, that being Judge Satterfield's court. And you know, it's all laid out in the Kansas Constitution and the laws establishing the courts under the Constitution. Now, this dude, though, says you must establish, or how did he phrase it? Let's go back 10, 15 seconds. Let's go right there so I can quote him exactly.
So what gives you
appoint a lawyer at this
what
point.
gives you jurisdiction over me? You must establish jurisprudence as a point of order.
Okay, so what gives you jurisdiction over me? You must establish jurisprudence as a point of order. How would you establish jurisprudence? That word doesn't mean what you think it means. Jurisprudence and jurisdiction are not synonyms. They do not mean the same thing. The court can't establish jurisprudence. Jurisprudence means the theory of law, the philosophy of law. So, like, establishing jurisprudence, does he want the prosecutor to lay out his theory of the case? That's for trial. That's for trial. Does he want to debate the merits of the philosophy of law, of what the law should be? That's either for appeals or for the legislature to establish new laws. The jurisprudence here is that the Kansas legislature has passed criminal statutes, including battery against law enforcement as a felony. That's the jurisprudence here. The jurisdiction, of course, is the Kansas state courts under a criminal law violation.
I'm not going to play your sovereign citizen gibberish game.
I'm not a sovereign citizen, sir. I'm
All
not a
right.
sovereign citizen.
You sound like one.
If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If it squawks like a sovereign citizen, it's a sovereign citizen. And I do appreciate Judge Ricke calling it exactly what I've called it all along: gibberish.
Well, I'm not.
All right. I assure you I have jurisdiction. So we've got a court date set before Judge Satterfield. I'm going to appoint James Watts at this point to represent Mr. McLaughlin, noting he's made a request to represent himself. Again, that's to be a matter taken up fully.
Doesn't James Watts only do misdemeanors? That could be a problem.
Before the assigned judge, Satterfield, at the hearing date on April 7 at 2:30 or some later time. And the court will set a $5,000 cash or professional surety bond, though obviously it's not going to affect his current incarcerated status.
But that way he can get credit for time served assuming, of course, Judge Satterfield doesn't sentence him to consecutive sentence, because, you know, she probably should, since this is a separate and distinct crime from what he's already in prison for. And frankly, if you're committing crimes in prison, you probably should have it tacked on to the end as a consecutive sentence, because otherwise, it sends the message that, hey, crimes committed in prison are freebies.
All right. Bond set, attorney appointed, court date established on Judge Satterfield's calendar. Anything else we need to address at this time, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McLaughlin? Apparently not.
Yeah, you need to address a point of order. As a
I've
first
addressed
point
all of
order
the
in
points
court
of order
the
that I'm
first
inclined
thing
to address
you must
today.
do is establish
Mr.
your
McLaughlin.
jurisdiction.
The McLaughlin matter is currently in recess, and we'll move on to another matter on the docket.
I object to moving on in any manner.
Objection noted and overruled, Mr. McLaughlin. All right, let's move
Request a
on.
copy
Right,
of-
then.
I
Thank
request
you
a
to the
copy of the
Henderson
minutes,
Correctional Facility.
transcripts, these proceedings.
We can go ahead and take him off the meeting at this time.
The transcript, you don't make an oral motion at the end of a hearing. There's a procedure. You have to follow the procedure. You'd think a jailhouse lawyer would know that. Wait, no, you wouldn't actually, because he's a moron. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Everything was a fail. And frankly, if I spoke to a judge with that tone, with that aggressive, like if I barked at a judge like that, I would be joining him in jail. Well, he's in prison, but I would be spending at least a night in jail if I barked at a judge like that. No wonder he's on a leash. He's an animal.
All right, Virgil Fry.
All right. Apparently, I didn't have to restart that because I couldn't remember if Judge Ricke made a smart quip at the end or not. But either way, that was the freak on a leash, sovereign citizen. He is absolutely ridiculous, completely crazy, doesn't know what he's talking about, Dunning-Kruger personified, and he keeps this up. He's gonna extend his stay in prison many times over. So that's all I have tonight. I told you, short and sweet. Of course, some people say I'm too long, and they seem to think I should just shut up and play the video, but that's kind of not the point of my channel. I'm here to give legal insight. I actually put the source video, I put the link in the description. Speaking of which, this is Old Squishy Gardener, link in the description. Subscribe to OSG, he's great. With that, like, share, and subscribe here. Bribe your friends and family to do the same, and I will see you soon for the next one. Bye-bye.